Hello, and welcome back to Podcasting Until Ragnarok, a podcast that was inspired by my blog, Writing Until Ragnarok, which if you are not already subscribed to this or the blog, you should be. Last episode was kind of short. I read a short piece that I wrote called The Heat, which is published on my blog, and I haven't been around for a little while, and let's talk about why. I've kind of just, life has been all over the place with COVID. I didn't really feel good about podcasting while people were home because, there'd be background noises, things like that. But recently I also got a job at Menchie's, which is the only frozen yogurt place that's worth a shit in my opinion. I don't get paid enough, but I get free froyo, so it's okay. And I'm just saving up money until I can move to Austin, hopefully. I also volunteer with Lazy Adventurer Publishing, which, if you don't know, is a small publishing group that has published a short story I wrote a while ago called Earth 3032. They're a great publishing group. They have great talent. Everybody there is so friendly. They have 2 different magazines, Collective Realms and Prismatica. They also now publish chapbooks. So if you want to go check them out, just Google Lazy Adventurer Publishing. I'm sure you'll find them. A little update about my blog. I've been posting every Monday consistently, which I'm very proud of. Occasionally there's a Tuesday, but life happens. And I'm currently reviewing the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe. Just for clarity, that does not include Deadpool or the X-Men movies. I don't know that I need to say that, but I felt like I should. Maybe I'll get to them eventually, but not right now. The most recent post I did was on Captain America, the First Avenger. I've already done Thor, Iron Man 2 and 1, and this upcoming Monday will be the Avengers, which I'm sure for no good reason will make me cry. So if you want to follow along with that journey, maybe learn about some Easter eggs or some fun facts you didn't already know about these movies, go check it out again every Monday, and if you subscribe, you'll get an email that tells you when I post it. Alright, so let's talk a little bit about the future of this podcast. My goal is to post on Wednesdays. I chose Wednesday because Jenna Marbles from YouTube used to post on Wednesdays until a bunch of ass fucks bullied her off of YouTube, and my life has been empty ever since then. Don't get me wrong, she needs to do what's best for her, but I wish she had stopped because she wanted to stop and not because people made her feel like she needed to. So to fill that gaping void in my life, I'm going to try and post on Wednesdays. I am no Jenna Marbles, but you know what? I feel like spiritually we're connected. So, yeah. Again, that's a goal. That's not a set date, so bear with me. But if you want to be updated, feel free to subscribe. You'll know when I post. At the very least, this Wednesday and the next 2 Wednesdays I should be posting. Alright. Today, we are going to be doing 2 things for hopefully a longer podcast. We're going to be reading The Classroom, a short piece also on my blog, and we're going to be talking about Parks and Rec. That is a comedy show that you can watch on Netflix. I don't know where else it's available. I watch it on Netflix. A little background about The Classroom. The Classroom is, again, a nonfiction piece that I wrote for my nonfiction class, I think sophomore year of college. I was just trying to capture the essence of my English class freshman year of college. I always like to sit in the back. I thought that'd be kind of fun to write about. So let's go. Again, available at my blog, writinguntilragnarok.com, which I will also link in the description below. Here is The Classroom. I sat in the plastic, uncomfortable, rotating chair in the classroom as I waited for my friends to arrive. My black composition book was placed in front of me next to my critique letter for the day. Once again, it was full of issues I found within the story, ranging from plot issues to grammatical issues. I took pride in my editing, much to the dismay of my classmates. Only 3 other students were in the room, none speaking to each other. One sat slumped down in his chair, staring at his phone while he scrolled through social media. Another sat staring down at her homework, as if she was checking it for errors. The third sat fixated on her laptop, trying to avoid eye contact with me since last class we had a dispute. She tilted her baseball hat down to cover her eyes and began typing on her laptop, causing a light tap-tap-tap sound to fill the previously silent room. Suddenly, the door creaked open as 2 more students shuffled in to sit in the silence with the rest of us. Bored, I decided to play a game on my iPhone 6s as I waited for my two friends to arrive. It vibrated in my hand as I received a text from one stating that she would be late because of a difficult workout. The door creaked open again as more students shuffled in. Then the professor finally entered. She walked up to the front podium with the computer and began setting her stuff up for the class. She lowered the projector screen and opened up the requirements for the workshop. Sighing, I looked over my critique letter that was addressed to the author of a very poorly written love story. Perhaps I was a critical reader, or the story was poorly done, but either way the letter was 2 pages long, full of corrections and grammatical issues. Finally, my friend entered and sat across from me, laughing at the awkward silence in the room, as they always did. We spoke about the story for a few minutes when the professor cleared her throat to get everyone's attention. Class began. Alright, that was the classroom. I hope you all enjoyed. It is available on my blog, writingintoragnarok.com. It is great. I have other short pieces published there. I'm going to continue reading them for you, but if you want to check out other things, like my reviews or just my thoughts on general things, go ahead and follow. Also, if you would like to sponsor something of your own, you can for no cost. Just, contact me. You can contact me through the website or find me on Twitter/Instagram at Celine Lafe. Alright, we're going to take a quick ad break so I can make a little bit of money. And then we're going to talk about Parks and Rec. Let's take a break to talk about Anchor. Anchor is the app that I am using to record this podcast. It's a completely free app that has creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started today. Alright, let's hop into it. I recently decided to rewatch Parks and Rec. Every now and then, like every couple months, I'll rewatch it. It's not like The Office where I can just have it constantly on repeat. And I feel like every time I watch it, I notice more things or have a greater appreciation for some of the characters. I used to not like Tom. I'm back to tolerating him. Still not my favorite, but that's just a personal thing. But something that I really feel like they did well was that relationships don't necessarily work based off of time, but off of trust and love. For example, Andy and April got married after 2 weeks of dating, and they had a great relationship. Ben and Leslie took their time, made sure they were right for each other. So I just feel like it was kind of a great example of you never really know if it's going to work out. Time doesn't necessarily mean anything. It's absolutely okay if you want to speed things up, if both of you want to, or if you want to take it slow and make sure you're right for each other. Whatever works. Women in power, something really cool. Leslie's mom had a powerful position. Everyone was afraid of her. She had some sort of nickname that was always bleeped out, so I don't actually know what it is. And Leslie moving her way up through the ranks, even through all the sexism and just stupid ass people she had to deal with. When she was on city council, some of them were sexist, some of them were just stupid, and she got booted, but then she goes up to work in national parks and just keeps going up from there. And I feel like it's a great example of, determination. And if you want to achieve something, you will. You just gotta go out and do it. In general, I feel like the show is really good about healthy relationships. I know that a lot of shows like to use fights and issues as a point of comedy, but instead Parks and Rec had comedy in their healthy relationships. For example, not causing unnecessary drama for the sake of the joke. At The Office. Thank you. I will get to that in the other episode. Andy and April. Yeah, they kind of had issue getting together, but that was just because April had some trust issues. They got over it. They didn't have stupid fights or unnecessary drama. They had practical things that they worked through as a couple that trusted and loved each other. It was never a big fight or a whole thing. Leslie and Ben, same thing. And also, they just greatly appreciated each other, and if they had a real issue, even if in the moment, Leslie can be a lot, they still worked through it healthily by talking and communicating. Fighting is not healthy. If you are constantly fighting with your significant other, you need to get out of that relationship. Thank you. Ron and Diane, a little bit rocky because Ron wasn't sure how to deal with children, but he even makes a point to say, I'm not familiar with it, but I want to learn. That is a healthy relationship because he wants to make it work with this woman and he's willing to do what he needs to do. Something that I feel like a lot of us have related to, or maybe currently relating to, learning how to be an adult. Andy and April don't know how to function, realistically, especially when Ben moves in and Ben is just like, what are you guys doing? And I feel like that really addresses the fact that a lot of people kind of just go out into the world and don't know what on earth they're doing and kind of learn from other people or just make stuff up as they go along. And I like that it showed that that's just kind of something that happens for different reasons. April was young, she'd never been on her own. Andy was just kind of goofy, but we love him. There's no toxic masculinity in the show, or if there is, those characters are technically the bad guys, and I really like that. A lot of shows have toxic masculinity. There's no reason for it. Tom is extremely feminine. Again, not my favorite character, but I appreciate the fact that he's not really a man, but he is, I don't know. But yeah, he's very feminine. They even have a joke in there that says Tom is bi, which I think is funny. Ron has an extreme respect for women. His mom, his Diane, Leslie, just in general, he's not sexist. He's just like, you do what you gotta do, he doesn't care. If you're a man, he'll tell you to man up, but if you're a woman, he's just like, you do you. And I love that. Ben is really nerdy and cute, and he's super supportive of Leslie all the time. There's several points in the show where he's like, even if I don't necessarily think it's the best decision, I'm going to support you because I love you. And Andy is just comfortable in general with whatever. He, there's that one episode where he runs around as a princess. He's also very handy. It's like, he doesn't care. He's just going to have fun. And if that means dressing up like a princess, that means dressing up like a princess. The show had especially for the time, an openness to different sexualities. They featured that gay bar several times, and Leslie, was in support of it, but as a politician, she couldn't, whatever, just watch the show. And then they had that penguin marriage early on, and both those penguins were men, so it was very yeah, this is fine. Leslie wasn't going to annul the wedding. She was against the couple who was straight marriage is the only way, which to me was hilarious, and this is, obviously they did it on purpose, was that her husband was very clearly gay, but he was internalizing his homophobia, so he couldn't be gay. The Tom's bi joke when he has Tom's Bistro and they didn't finish painting the letters. John Ralphio seems very open to things, and he offered to sleep with Chris because, and I quote, he's open-minded as hell. And he says that very dramatically, and I'm not going to say it very dramatically, but whatever. But overall, it is really a good show. I feel like it covers a lot of things in very appropriate and healthy ways. Obviously it's a comedy, there are jokes and things like that, but in general, to me, it's more just like watching people develop in their lives and fall in love and be happy. And that's really just all I want in a show. And I think if you haven't seen it, or maybe if you have and there's something you want to comment on, go ahead and drop a comment below or wherever, I don't know where you're listening. Or even just, tell your friends, be like, you should watch this show, it's on Netflix. I'm pretty sure everybody has Netflix or is using someone else's Netflix. And if you don't have it, just steal your friends. I don't care what Netflix says. But yeah, it's a great show. There are 7 seasons, and it's kind of funny to watch because it came out a while ago. So they had their predictions for how 2012 was gonna be, and 2017 and things like that, and it's just funny how far they thought we were gonna be with technology and progress in society versus where we are. So yeah, give it a watch. 22-minute episodes except for a few. I'm sorry if I spoiled something. I just realized that if you haven't seen it, I may have spoiled things. But you can watch it either way, because you know what, really, even if someone tells you something that happens, you don't really know that it happens until you see it. Because you know what, I saw spoilers for Endgame, but it told me nothing. Yeah. Thanks for listening. Be sure to subscribe, share with your friends, just listen over and over again, whatever you want to do. Come back next Wednesday. I will probably be talking about The Office, because I realized I took a shot at it earlier. We will see. But we'll do another reading from my blog. And yeah, thanks so much for listening. I hope you all return next week, and I hope you're all staying safe, healthy, wash your hands. If you don't want to wear a mask, then just don't leave your fucking house. Thank you.